Hi, welcome to Purple Friends. I'm one of your co-hosts, Corey.
And I'm Jocelyn. That was so weird.
I'm so sorry. I started it this time. I thought I'd go a little wild there. Our podcast has a name now, everybody. Purple Friends. Welcome. This is still a podcast about mental health and probably cuteness, I would say, more than everything else.
Yes, because we are probably your purple friends.
Mm-hmm. I'm not wearing purple right at this moment, but
I definitely
Jocelyn is head to toe purple right now. I'm wearing I'm wearing a green hat. Dang it. Okay. Anyway, gang, last week we talked about gratitude, and we did a little thing in there that I really liked. It was called we called them like our little gratefuls. I think we called them that. And if we didn't, I'm going to start calling them that. These little gratitude, little grateful things that
nuggets.
Yeah, we share these little things that we were grateful for at the beginning. And I feel like it put us in a good mood for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, I love that.
Would you like to start us off with one or two?
Absolutely. I'm really grateful for today. Our daughter is with my parents, and it has just been a really hectic holiday season. So having a quiet day at home to get stuff done is exactly what I needed. And I'm so grateful for that.
Awesome. That's a good one. I'm also currently enjoying that. Boy, what am I grateful for right now? I'm grateful that I was just about to say, I'm going to give a little bit behind the scenes information. We attempted to record a second episode of the podcast, and I did not I was not happy with my performance, so I canned it. And it's gone forever. Well, not really. It's in the archive. I have it, but you'll never hear it.
Yeah, it's not great.
And I'm personally, I mean, it was fine. Yeah. It was just like,
it's just unfinished, and we weren't feeling it, you know?
Yes. I think we were really stressed at the time because of the holidays, and we didn't sound as cute as we normally do. But what I'm grateful for is this opportunity to retry. God, I love a retry.
Yes.
We're
here.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Very in the spirit of the previous or the unused episode, which was all about retries and new beginnings and stuff like that. But you'll never hear that. So forget I ever said that. This week, we're talking about something very relevant. I'm looking right at you.
All right. We're talking about seasonal affective disorder.
SAD.
Yes. SAD. I think a lot of people have probably heard of this, right? Or some of it, call it the winter blues. But I think to some degree, it can be a little universal to feel a little low when the weather changes and the sun goes away, especially, in those areas of the world and where that happens, right? Mm-hmm. So for us in the Midwest, that is definitely happening right now. So yes, it is a very relevant topic.
Yes. And something that I think it's important to say is like seasonal affective disorder is not the same thing as like if you already suffer from depression, it may be getting a little bit worse or something in the low light of winter months. Like it's not really the same thing as that. That's like your depression and you're being affected by the same stuff that like most of us are being affected by, this lack of vitamin D in this low light kind of situation. But
yeah, this is more so specifically for the people who only really experience these symptoms during a certain seasonal time.
Right.
Right.
And it's not just winter time. It can be summer, as hard as that is to understand for a lot of us who don't feel that.
But the definition, it says it there. It's seasonal,
yes,
right? It doesn't necessarily say winter. Yes, exactly. So it is, the important thing to remember is that it is temporary. Like it does have like a time frame in which it kind of comes up and goes away.
Yes.
I think if you experience this, you can start to anticipate when you start to feel it, when it starts to dissipate, So yeah, right now we're definitely getting less sunshine, especially now that the holidays are up. We're in that stretch of the winter where it's like kind of barren, there's not a whole lot to look forward to for many of us. And it can be comforting to kind of go back into routine. I know a lot of people are very excited to get back into the swing of things and just kind of hibernate a little bit. But that can be comforting for some, and for others, it can be really daunting.
Indeed. And I think it's important to talk about like actually the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder. They're basically exactly the same as depression. Low mood, fatigue, low interest in the things you normally like to do, changes in your sleep and appetite, concentration, and just general like a kind of hopelessness feeling, which is how depression feels.
Yeah, a lot of people might also experience some like low motivation or lack of motivation, lack of inspiration, which can be really frustrating for a lot of people who either do that as a hobby or like their own interests, or can really impact their work,
Yes.
their school, their relationships.
Yeah, it really can affect people to varying degrees. Like I don't think that I personally have seasonal affective disorder, but I do feel like, it's I'm a lot less cheery when there's no sunshine. And it goes from like a very small amount of that all the way to like the disordered version, where like it affects your life. Like you said, it affects your work and your relationships and stuff like that. So, we can all be affected by the season to varying degrees. But this time specifically, we're talking about the disorder.
Yes.
Yeah. And speaking of that, in that clear definition, I think I'm going to do some research. Here's a couple quick things that are important about seasonal affective disorder. A study by Melrose in 2015 found that the prevalence of SAD varies geographically, with higher rates in regions with less sunlight during the winter months. So very much more prevalent in the Northern Hemisphere. Research by Golden et al. In 2005 demonstrated the efficacy of light therapy as a first-line treatment for SAD, with improvements in mood and sleep observed in many individuals. You look like you want to say something about.
Well, just because like I know lots of clients, and we have had
little light lamps.
Yeah, light therapy lamps, and I just can't help but think of like
Broad City.
Yes. But yeah, a lot of people I think have used light therapy, or like to some degree, it's it's kind of been accepted as common. Yeah. Common treatment.
I'm kind of curious if anyone listening to this, what their experience is. I've like we said, we've tried it. I personally don't feel like it does much for me.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't think that I have seasonal affective disorder. I think I just have regular old
depression.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried it and I like it mostly just because it's like fun. I don't think I have seasonal affective disorder. I don't. And I was gifted a light therapy lamp, and I tried it, and it was fun.
I'm sure it's nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I closed my eyes for a second, and I thought like, this can feel like the sun on my face. And that was nice. So
here's my thing. When you said it could feel like the sun on my face, that's my problem. Is it doesn't. It's not hot. And my body is still cold. My fingers are still freezing, so I can't get there in my head.
Yeah, I'm still sitting on my desk. Yeah. Like it's not
like even if I'm in front of a heater, I have to be under a blanket or whatever.
But anyway,
yeah.
If you like them, if they work for you, that's great.
Yes,
it's it's been used
exactly. Clearly there is some efficacy there. Especially for people who actually have it. Like we said, we don't. Yeah. And then the last thing I want to say is we talked about, I mentioned it, vitamin D, good old sunlight. That's what those lamps are trying to give you, is a replacement for that vitamin D that you're getting from sunlight. I mean, I don't know how much they're giving you. I don't think they're giving you very much. But,
or you can use a supplement. I think a lot of people, again, have also experienced having to take that supplement, especially in the winter. My doctor told me, though, that once your vitamin D levels are deficient, they kind of stay that way. So once you start taking supplements, you kind of have to keep at it.
Well, that's interesting. We're not doctors, folks.
We are not doctors. This is just what my doctor told me. And I don't know her very well.
Okay. Yeah. And that's we're going to have to end the research on that dubious statement. Okay, so we talked about a little bit our experience with like trying to use lamps and stuff like that and seasonal. Did you ever think that you did have seasonal affective disorder?
Absolutely not.
No, never.
No, I feel like I've always liked the winter. I mean,
really?
especially as a kid, I liked it a lot more. Now, as an older person,
As an older.
yes, as an elder, I my bones hurt, you know, it's harder to go outside. I feel the cold more. But as a kid, especially my birthday's in the winter, I like the winter.
Yeah.
We get that break. I have always enjoyed it. So no.
Here's the question. Did your parents ever make you shovel snow?
No, I would request to do it for fun.
You would? Wow. They broke the mold when they made you. You are something special.
Oh, goodness.
So we don't really have a whole lot of experience with SAD, but if anyone out there would like to share their experience, please get at us. I don't know how you could. We have an Instagram. Well,
no,
we don't have an Instagram.
It's connected to the Vibe Therapy Instagram. And it's really, I mean, this, if you wanted to get a hold of us, you can get a hold of us through Vibe Therapy and all the contacts on the website. But we would love to hear from you, actually. Yeah. We would love to hear about your stories. If you're willing, you know, to share a little bit of your experience, because there's so much comfort in knowing that you're not alone experiencing something. And we also, I love to build communities. Yes. I love to get to know people. I love people. So if you want to share a little bit of your experience with us, we'd love to hear it. And we probably won't share it. So like don't worry about that.
Well, if you want, I just had an idea. If you want to share it in a sort of a public space, like you talked about, build a sense of community.
Let us know.
Whenever we post this episode on Instagram, just comment on that post.
Perfect.
Anything you want to say about the episode?
Love it.
All right. Now we're going to talk about some of these real ways to fight seasonal affective disorder. We talked about the light. We talked about how we don't know about that light. Here's some other ideas. Lifestyle changes.
Yes.
You are a big part of seasonal affective disorder. I think I maybe got interrupted a little bit earlier when I was trying to say there's a huge connection between vitamin D and seasonal affective disorder. And the best way to get vitamin D is with sunlight. So if the sun is ever out, gotta get, even if it's cold, just get out there and soak up those rays. You know how nice it is when it's sunny and it's cold out? You ever feel that where like it's like warm on your skin even though it's cold out? It's beautiful.
Okay.
Okay, comment on this post if you agree that it's beautiful when it's warm out, when it's cold out.
Yes, I think I can get myself there.
Oh, I'm so glad that you have that level of imagination to get there with me.
Oh, yes, absolutely. If you need me to get there, I will play the game. I'll be present and feel the warm sunlight on my skin.
Okay, cool. The other thing is, like, this is going to be advice we always give, is like, you got to manage your stress.
Wait a minute. Did you do the lifestyle changes already?
No. You want to talk about?
Yes, absolutely.
You do them. Sorry. I didn't mean to jump around. I was just jumping around.
Well, and I think that this one is just so important. And honestly, right now, I've seen a pretty huge trend on romanticizing everything, right?
Oh
like, I think that there is a way to use that as a coping skill and to combat some of the seasonal depression is by, romanticizing, looking forward to the winter, finding things, you know, that are novel about it, that you like about it, right? So if you're a reader, getting cozy about it. If you like to be active, right? Like maybe thinking of some new activities you can do outside in the cold and in the snow. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like lifestyle changes, especially now, has been very, what's the word I'm looking for? Just approachable.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to treatment and just managing the symptoms of SAD.
This is the time of year to do it, y'all.
Yeah. But some of that might also include just taking care of yourself, like actual self-care, feeding yourself good food, getting some good sleep.
The annoying stuff.
Well, I mean, it can get tedious, but I do think that when we strict back, it's important to do those things, right? To meet our basic needs, which include, getting a good sleep.
Drinking water.
I have mine right here. Also, what was the other one?
Exercise.
Oh, I also wanted to say, like, make sure you check in with the people you like. You know, like socialize, get out there, have fun.
Check in with your circle.
Check in. Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say is check in with your people.
Yeah.
Okay. You can now go to stress management.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure. Oh my gosh. I'm in charge of the stress management now. I'm going to do my best, everybody. I don't manage stress very well, but I'm going to do my best. Here's what you do if you're stressed.
Everybody listen up.
You got your notes. You gotta breathe.
Oh my God. The amount of times I feel like I tell people like breathe.
You gotta breathe, y'all.
We have to learn to breathe it's such a hard, like, I feel like so many people have such a hard stop when someone tells them like, you gotta breathe. Mm-hmm. Like, duh, bitch, like I am, like I am breathing, you know, like everyone knows how to breathe. It almost feels, you know, silly to suggest it, but when you, and we'll talk about this maybe at some point when we talk about anxiety, but when you really know how to manage your breath and focus on it, like it can be a game changer, especially for stress management. So yes, breathe.
Yeah, for real. Another thing that's important, or at least really works for me, is like taking stock of the things that you can change and taking stock of the things that you can change, and just like accepting the things that you can't change first of all, and then trying to make little changes to make your life easier or better around the things that you can't change. So like in this case, can't change the weather, can't change time, but we can do things like finding new ways to entertain ourselves indoors, finding new places to go, finding new ways to entertain ourselves outdoors, like all kinds of stuff like that.
I love that. Absolutely.
Okay, all of this is so well and good, but you know what we like to do here is we like to be realists, and we like to acknowledge that like this is not easy. Everything that we talk about on this podcast is going to be easier said than done, always. Yeah. So it's really important to acknowledge that and maybe try to talk about some common things that might get in people's ways. Mm-hmm. So like, let's say you want to try light therapy. Got to buy a lamp. Let's say you can't buy a lamp. That stinks. This is where we're going to find like sort of like where I come from, we call them the poor man's version. That's not what I don't know if that's really appropriate to call them anymore, but what we do is like, you don't have a lamp, you sit by a sunny window. You sit by a south-facing window. You know what I mean? You know, you don't have a lamp. You like check the weather for the next sunny day, and you make some time on your calendar for what you're going to do on that sunny day.
Yeah. Exactly like you said, right? You're just shifting your focus to the things that you can control. I love that. Yeah. Sitting outside, doing something. I often say that, like, because it's just so hard to make a change, right? Especially, again, like when you've fallen into some routine, like even just sitting on your phone inside to sitting on your phone outside can make such a big difference, even for 5 minutes.
Yes. And I think it's also really cool, like your phone. Like you were just talking about like sitting on your phone outside versus inside. Your phone is a good resource. I mean, I know we don't like to like suggest like staring at your phone or anything like that, but like if you like those, like if you like those alarm clocks that wake you up with like a sunrise instead of a sound, like there's apps for that. Yeah. You know, there's like
affirmation apps and daily mood check-ins and checklists and like just so much.
Daily mood check-ins are so helpful. I have been doing a daily mood check-in with an app called Dailyo, not a sponsor, but Dailyo, get at me.
For years.
I have over 1,000-day streak.
Yeah. Also, Dailyo, get at me. I often recommend the app to clients. Really? Yes, because I think it is just so important to like just to start to become aware of how we're feeling. And Dailyo is cool because like you get to check patterns too. Like, oh, like Tuesdays are really rough for me, or
my best day is Thursdays. What?
Yeah,
that makes sense. That's when my daughter is being watched by my mother-in-law and I can relax for a day.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool that like with just some shifts of focus, I don't know, you can uncover quite a lot about yourself.
Yeah. And it's really great if you're like a person like me who's really interested in seeing patterns and stuff like that. And it's really light touch. So like it'll just pop up 1 through 5. How are you feeling right now? And it can be as simple as that. And so I'll have several every day just to look back on. And it's nice. And you don't need an app to do that. Like you can use a journal.
Absolutely.
We talk about the beauty of journaling here all the time. So
yeah, which I have mine right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I hope anybody who is experiencing some seasonal affective disorder can choose to find something that will help, right? Anything in this moment that they might need, breaking it down to just focusing on meeting your needs, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that might be right now. If you're thirsty, have a drink. If you're tired, go to sleep. Just do something for yourself.
Definitely. Yeah. Like we talk about this a little bit at our house. Like picture yourself like a sim, all those little bars, all of your needs. You got to meet your needs. You got to meet your sim needs.
You got to make sure they're all in the green,
and just like a sim, all that stuff is affecting your mood. Like you could
their functionality.
You could be, like you could be just a little hungry, just have to go to the bathroom a little bit, just be a little stinky, and all that stuff together is going to give you like a bad day, and like that's not going to help. So taking care of yourself, making sure you're meeting your basic needs is always so important if you want to make steps to like better your mental health.
Yeah, steps. Because
step one.
I think it's always such a great, first step, great starting point. We can always just do a quick self-assessment of like, do I need anything right now? How am I feeling? You know, can I have something to eat? Should I take a shower? Should I go outside?
Stop. Are you holding food right now? Are you hungry or are you thirsty? Put down the cookie and drink some water. Just this one time. You can have the cookie later. I'm not going to deprive you of a cookie. I promise. I would never do that to you. But drink some water first. Please, yes. For me, for your purple friends. Please
drink some water for your purple friends. I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Maybe we should just end with that.
Okay, bye.
I've been Co.
I've been Joe.
And you should drink some water for your purple friends. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Purple Friends is an independent podcast produced by Vibe Therapy Services and is not a substitute for a session with a real therapist. Our show art was created by Jocelyn Lang, and our theme music is Nature Nurture by The Implied Bear. Vibe Therapy is an Illinois-based private practice serving clients in person at our Wheaton office and virtually throughout the state of Illinois. We accept Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, United Healthcare, Aetna, and Cigna insurance. We also offer private pay rates as well as free 15-minute initial consultations. Therapy doesn't have to feel clinical. Visit vibetherapyservices.com to see if we vibe.